G'day, hi, and welcome. From the dawn of time, there have been many vehicles. Some vehicles are not painted. Some just come out with fury red. And that is the road rage van. But even the road rage van needs retirement sometimes too. And we sometimes have to find a vehicle to replace the rage that rages within the rage of the road rage van. So, there can only be a few vehicles on the planet worthy of replacing the road rage van. Very few. These vehicles must be built of pedigree and prestige. These vehicles must be of good character and tough as nails like iron. And these vehicles must be noble in every way. And these vehicles must be introducing the replacement for the road rage van. The Moneymaker. The Honda 1999 CR-V. All-wheel drive. No exceptions. Everything I said, well, maybe not everything I said, because, well, it was cheap, so that was the main reason why I bought it. $400 for a windshield on that? Or a Honda CR-V. Okay, here's what happened, guys. The needle in the haystack showed up. Now, there is a little bit of surface rust. First off, let me tell you what happened. 2 weeks ago, as you know, I went to the mud run, which meant I pretty much ran into everybody I knew. Ended up getting a little bit sauced while taking pictures of the mud run. And, of course, I ran into one of my cousin Jordan, and Jordan and I got pretty sauced, and then he shows up on this thing, and I'm telling him, yeah, I got to get myself another vehicle. He goes, well, why don't you buy mine? So I didn't know if he was just drunk talking me or whatever, because we tend to do stuff like that up around these parts, and people forget. But the good news is that he was serious. Yeah, he wanted to get rid of this thing. Now, incidentally, the guy I'm working for now is the guy he bought it from about a year ago for about $900. It is not perfect, but it is actually pretty darn good. And as we get into it a little bit more detailed, this vehicle has, well, I'll show you why it was $400. Now, when I took it to put it in my name, the lady didn't believe me that was the numbers on it. She said, there's too many numbers on there. I said, no, that's the actual mileage. 437,790 kilometers, which is about 250,000 miles. Okay, just so you know. But it's not bad. We're going to look at it a little bit more detailed. So this is $400 now. Mind you, basically all the money I made in the past 2 weeks, on the hobby farm is basically what went into this. So it puts me on the wire, but I call this thing the Moneymaker right now, or it's going to be a money pit. It's going to be one or the other. My goal with this is every time I move it, I want to make money with it, meaning take it to work, wherever I go. It's not going to be, it's probably not going to last forever, but considering the mileage you put on, my cousin has a bit of a heavy foot, and he travels about 140 kilometers, about 85 miles each way, twice a day. So that's like 80 miles there, 80 miles back, 140 there, 140 back, whatever, to the city and back. And, probably out of speed, I would imagine he probably drives in the 120 to 140 range speed-wise. So yeah, it did that. But the guy he bought it from, again, my boss, he put a lot of preventive maintenance in it, and he said like there was a stack of receipts like that. He was telling me about it because I was joking around with him. I said, yeah, my cousin's going to sell me this vehicle, and I described it to see if he'd catch on that it was his old vehicle. And it's got a weird anti-theft thing in here, it's like, it's weird, but it's like, okay, well, I can understand because they used to take it to Toronto and back. Again, missing some pieces up here, but I mean, for me, the way I'm looking at it, if I get a year out of this thing for $400, this vehicle is going to pay for itself fairly quickly. So it's just as long as it can pay for it before I have to put another $400 into it. There's already some things that it has to live with. for now. But again, it's not like this thing's going to be seeing extremely high mileage for me every day. I don't travel the city and back. But should I have to, I got something that I can do it with. He said it. My cousin said it never left him anywhere. But he wanted to get rid of it before it did. So I said, I'll take the gamble. At this stage of the game, because my finances are, well, you guys know I'm always constantly complaining about my finances. So you know where I'm at. And of course, for $400, guys, look at that windshield. You know, my cousin even cleaned it, and he's got an air freshener in there. That's pretty good. The exhaust, this thing, it's so quiet. Like, well, maybe it's really noisy, but for my standards, so quiet. Look at this. This tire looks pretty good, you know. 4 summer tires in there. The winter tires, yeah, that one's getting a little bit on the bald side. But again, it's not like I'm going to be going really far. And I might even have a set of these Arctic Claws sitting in, brand new ones sitting in there. If I do, I'll just put the front ones on and buy them off my dad or whatever. But $400. Now, the plate on it, I couldn't believe it. My cousin, okay, I bought it for $400, but he marked it down for $100, right? And in Quebec, what we used to do is just take a piece of paper and say, I such and such sold this to such and such. But because people's handwriting's bad, they started to make it a little bit more formal, where you sign what's called a power of attorney. And, you know, so it's all these little boxes you write in, and you put the mileage on there, and that's when the lady looks, are you sure that's a lot of numbers on there? I said, no, that's right. That's right. This is a 19-year-old vehicle. Obviously, it had some preemptive bodywork. I can imagine if we were to look under this, who knows what we'd find. But it doesn't look bad. Like, I got a hole here, a hole here. The strut wells look okay. A little bit, a hole here. Common problems with this thing, and my cousin already let me know about it, that rear bearing is starting to go. So it is a drum brake in the back, disc in the front. I'm going to pull everything apart, have a look at it, you know, just to see. Usually one of the first things I do with a vehicle anyway is pull the wheels off and put them back on. Why? Because I bet you the last guy that pulled those off, put them on with an impact wrench. So if you ever have to change a tire on the side of the road, just torque them out what the factory specs are. Don't go any crazier than that. But look at it looks like this is good. Like, it doesn't look like there's anything underneath there. Inside the doors, everything looks good. I'll get more into it as I go. I have to inspect the whole thing. I'm going to actually be able to crawl underneath this one a little bit easier than the van. I'm still going to fix that one up, but this one here, at least I don't have to jack it up to get underneath it. There is a hitch on it. The hitch is broken. The weld came off on one side, so that's not a big deal. That's pretty seized on there. I'll probably just take that one off and unbolt the one off the road rage van, put it on here. I don't know if there's a way to preserve that muffler so I never have to replace it again, but who cares? Hopefully by the time, the thing is I now have mobility, so even if I'm broke on cash, somebody needs me to work tomorrow morning or here or there, whatever, well, maybe not tomorrow. I'm waiting for the insurance guy to call back. 155 for the plate. I guess you want to see the engine too. It's just a little 4-cylinder. Basically, it is a Honda Civic in an SUV, is what it is. That's exactly what it is. Automatic. Do I want? I got 2 hood reload. What does that one do? Oh, that's for the back hatch, I guess. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. I'm still trying to figure out what does that do. There's a couple of what does that do. When you're used to the domestics, Ford, Chev, Chrysler, Dodge stuff, everything seems to be generic on those, where each manufacturer seems to put the same, this one hand, do the same thing. Whereas when you get into the Japanese stuff, everything's just kind of a little bit different. Like, for example, they got a little plastic doodad on it. So you got a little bit of rust here, but overall looks good. A little bit of rust starting here, not bad. I'll get it as long as I get on top of it now. Looks good. But look at the firewall. The firewall's nice and clean. The wheel wells are pretty clean. Like, it's dirty in here. Major things to watch out for: belts, timing belts, your cam belts, or sorry, timing chain. So I'll have to get a manual or something for that. But I mean, it's got a header on it, man. It's a little 2-liter here. And it burns a bit of oil. They're known to burn a bit of oil, so just don't let it burn too much, you know, or else you'll have no oil. The radiator apparently is, well, Once I inspect it, oh yeah, here's the cap here. My God, that's a little tiny little wee thing. Got a big, that's a huge airbox. I don't know what that's for, but yeah, the weird shaped battery though, that's kind of concerning me, and I'll tell you why. Anything that's of oddball shape like that is usually really expensive and hard to find. It's like, I need this kind of a battery. Yeah, sure, but I need it this size. What the hell is that? Battery don't ever fail me. Fuse boxes. Again, a little bit of surface rust everywhere. Not too bad. We'll have a better look underneath the fan box. So I'm gonna clean. I'm gonna detail this pretty good. These are common seepage here. That's normal. Remember, this thing has 250,000 miles on it. For $400. You know, there's your windshield washer fluid thing. So it's a little bit of a different setup. Is that my... Oh, there's one thing my cousin didn't tell me, though. And another thing that's common is, see, this one's all yellowed. This one's not too bad, but this one's pretty... I'll fix it whenever I fix it. Patch it now, fix it later, you know. But there's one thing my cousin didn't tell me. And he neglected to tell me until at first he was going to sell it to me for $350, but I didn't want to screw my cousin over, so I said, I'll tell you what, how about $400? Because I think he was a little bit sauced and a little bit happy and a little bit too generous, and I was like, I can't do that to my cousin. If it was a stranger, yeah, but I was like, how about? I said $350. I said, are you sure? He's like, oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm like, how about 400? You know, because I don't want to. He goes, yeah, but I don't want to screw you. We don't want to screw each other over. But one thing he didn't tell me is, number one, it's got a crazy anti-theft thing. But that's not the big thing. Wait, so see? Turn the key, nothing. Then that's the anti-theft, but maybe I'll be able to talk to my boss and say, do you know how to get rid of that? But that's not the thing that he didn't tell me about. What he didn't tell me about... That's the horn. Sorry, Goof. That's the horn. You know how much my town is going to hate me? I love it. I love it so much. Like, that's worth $400 right there. What kind of sound is that? Like, that is... Oh, yeah. I just love it already. So... it was after we made the deal. We were at the mud run or whatever. He goes, yeah, this thing's awesome. And then he hits the horn. I'm like, you're kidding me. And he's like, he's just dying. I love it. It's the, yeah, that's, I believe that's the horn that, like, what kind of sound is that? I can't even, woo. It's the original awooga. Yeah. Yeah, we stole the awooga horn off the Queen Mary. There we go. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a nice little engine, easy to work on. I mean, I don't know where the oil filter is. I'm sure that's probably going to be a thing that's a pain in the ass. But I guess that's a brake reservoir there. I'm going to clean it up in here a bit, and we'll see what we got. It's got rusty engine mounts, and yeah, again, so it's not bad. But the critical parts are good. We are talking about all-wheel drive, so I'm going to look under. I'm going to get the what you call it, the floor mat out there so I can lie on it before I get underneath. But I already looked underneath it. It actually doesn't look too bad. Like, I mean, we got basically plastic wheel wells, so we don't have any worries in there. There is, however, a broken spring in there. That is the major thing that's wrong with it. The alignment doesn't seem too bad, although this tire is wearing a bit because of the shock. That's another thing that's common with these CRVs, apparently, is the suspension goes on them all the time. Mind you, keep in considering the mileage. Now look, got a Raven. Thought it was an Eagle, but a Raven. We got some Fox gloves. Got some hand built to protect the foundation of metal, moto, and life. Join our family. The Fox. Okay, 4-wheel drive to prevent damage to glass. Close tailgate before hatch. I'm going to show you this in a second there. I'll show you when I do review. But you got to lift the hatch and then open it up. It's kind of a funky design, but well, it'll do what it is. And then I got the stickers here. Now, the only other thing I don't like about it, well, number one, I wanted a car, not an SUV. But as a winter vehicle, I think this is going to be all-wheel drive. It's just you're constantly in all-wheel drive. So that's the one thing I'm not really crazy about is all-wheel drive, because the miles per gallon or clicks per kilometer are going to be probably... Hopefully I get better than 20 miles per gallon. I'm pretty sure with a little four-cylinder I'm going to get better than 20 miles per gallon, but probably like 25 to 30 the way I drive. I drive, speed limit, 10 below the speed limit. I'm in no race. When you do drive it, it is kind of a short wheelbase, especially against that beast. That thing is like a luxury liner. It really is. If you do have an opportunity to buy one of these old Grand Caravans, even my dad and I both agree, like of all of you, and I've driven a lot of vehicles, this is the first one that I've actually legally had my name. That's my first car over there technically that I bought. This is still my dad's name, but that thing is just, we've had Ford Tauruses. I've ridden in just like an LS 300 there, those big, nothing compared to that. Like that thing, if you want to go cross country, that's what you want to go cross country in. It's so comfortable. It's a little bit more of a Bronco style ride, not quite as violent as say like a Suzuki Samurai, but it has that kind of high skinny tire boxy kind of feel where you're a bit like that. Plus being all-wheel drive, if you're hitting the bumpy road and the pedals moving around on you, you're gonna torque all over the place. So it's that kind of ride. So it's not the super smooth ride. It's not a rough ride, but it's like I say, it's not like a Suzuki Samurai, which your passenger has to hang onto the handrail. But it does feel like a very short wheelbase. Visibility is really good. Did I mention the horn? Did I tell you about the horn? Yeah. But everything is good. The rims are steel, so I believe they're steel, or are they aluminum? I don't see any rust on them, so they must be steel or aluminum or cadmium coated or whatever. See if I see any rust on them. Oh no, okay, they're fine. The rotors on this are I've got the whatever, but the brakes aren't rubbing. So what I'm going to probably do is pull everything apart and just kind of do a quick maintenance, get some silicone paste and stuff like that. My goal, I mean, this thing is 19 years old. Even if I don't do a thing to it, it will survive the winter. But if I get on top of it now, rust proof it, like I $25 oil gun, go buy a big 10-gallon pail of peanut oil, hook up your compressor, and just go nuts. Obviously not on the parts that heat up a lot, but inside the doors, I'll show you inside the doors. Oh, locking this, there's also a funky thing to lock it. You can't accidentally lock the driver's side. You have to manually do it. But the doors, look, they don't look bad. I mean, look at that. Now, mind you, my boss, now, he's, I don't know what you would really call his job, if he's a deacon or whatever. So you got a little hole here. Okay, that's not bad. That's, and no officer is ever going to see that. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's ever going to see that. So, a little bit of rust here. I'll fill this in. I mean, heck, I could foam that in if I wanted to be, but I'll probably do it right. It's small enough to fix properly. Same with this. Fix it properly so it doesn't get any worse. It's still pretty, it's still pretty solid. So you can tell it's been repaired before. So the bond was falling out. So as long as I get on top of it now, back here, okay, yeah, we got a little bit of hole in the rocker there, but not bad. Again, $400. Looks solid. The other thing is the control arms on these things are very clunky. Even if this thing was brand spanking new, everybody says they're really clunky. So we got some. So obviously there's some repairs have been done before, but my boss that has, if anything, this thing probably spent more time in the garage and properly maintained, and they probably cleaned it properly and everything. These seats actually recline as well as go forward. So if you got passengers in the back, they're going to be passed out. Oh, and 4 relatively good summer tires here. So that's pretty darn good. What else I got going on? Again, look under the door. So I got a little bit here. That's solid. That's just surfaced. That's nothing. That'll be gone this week. Again, here it looks good. This is where your concern would be is water getting in there and then sitting in there in the salt and everything. So probably underneath there's probably all eaten through, but that plastic guard there is like whatever's eaten through you're never going to see. which means you can't get it pulled off the road. So, but other than that, yeah, he semi-vacuumed it out, and a little bit of rust there. So I'll paint that up, whatever, just with some tester paint, clean it up, maybe give it another cleaning. And again, I'll clean it up a bit more, and then I'll do. The only thing is, I guess because of the mileage on it, the wheel's never straight when you're driving. It's kind of like this a bit there. So, but you got cruise control. I don't know what that button does. I mean, I just got this thing, but the anti-theft thing is a bit annoying because you know when you're used to jumping into a vehicle, just turning the key and going. But these seats, look, $19.99, except for the pine needles. These things are legendary, and they never wear out. They're not too bad. They're kind of comfortable. You've got lots of little hatches and stuff like that. Should I keep going? Well, it's a 20-minute video. I'll do an exclusive video after I go through it and clean it out and stuff like that. But there you go, guys. I am back on the road as soon as my insurance company guy calls me back and lets me know. Again, I've seen worse. I've seen better. But this is a bit of a unicorn. This is the type of vehicle you're looking for when you're on the cheap. $400 with the plate on it right now. I'm at $555. As long as the insurance and tank of gas, I'll probably be under $700 on the road. Find me a better deal than that. Now, of course, I'm gonna have to add some more performance stickers to this thing. The other thing I don't like about it is the color. Not that I don't like the color, the gray color. It's the statistics of gray. For those of you who don't know, you might have heard me talk about it in other videos that gray is the highest accident rate of vehicles. The reason why is you get road mirage with these things, where people see it on a really sunny day, and it blends into the road. You know, you'd think it'd be shiny, but it doesn't. It just kind of blends into the road. So I am going to pimp the crap out of this thing with some horrid-looking stickers. I'm thinking a nice Cobra sticker somewhere on the back here. Not on the windows, because I want to be able to see out. The visibility is good. Not as good as the van, but it is pretty good. Forward is excellent. But I'm thinking, you know, like some neon stripe of some sort here. See if I can get a Gadsden flag on the top, or maybe a Dixie flag, you know, get myself a nice rebel flag, Confederate flag, Canadian flag on there too. Fire chicken on the roof, some sort of flame job on this, and maybe get one of those angry, you know, mouth-eating grill things with the tongue hanging out. That would make it look sick. And some sort of crazy whale tail on the back. There is no roof racks on this, so the roof rack, one of the rail things is, maybe I'll have to hit some junkyard, see if I can cannibalize. I mean, there might not be any of these left on the planet to cannibalize. Well, they made enough of them. But if I can get a roof rack in there, that would be good. I'm missing the weather stripping for that, but that's okay. Yeah, nice little purchase. $400, exactly what I was looking for. Nice and cheap. Very hard, and it's like I said, you always have to have the money ready to go. Now the problem is once I get this on the road, I got like no money left whatsoever. So it has to make me money soon. But I got the winter tires on it. That's not bad. They're not the best winter. You know, the best. They're about, I'd say, 3/4 worn down. So it should get me through the winter anyway. But I probably have some of these Articlaws 205-15s sitting brand new. I think that's the same size. If it is, those ones on the front are pretty much brand new, and I'll just take those off of there. And I doubt the bolt pattern is the same. Nobody could ever be that lucky. But if these are 205-15s or the 14s, I can't remember what these are. These are, let me see here. W202. Where's my rims? 215. 65 R16. Oh, 1 inch too tall. Too bad those are brand new as in a year old. So I don't know. But anyway, if I can scrounge up another $250, I got myself some tires. So for the front, I'm just worried about the front. The back, I'm not so worried about. Like, I'll just cycle these to the back and then whatever. So the only major things is wheel bearing's going to go probably within the year. You can hear it a bit back here. I might even have my own puller kit to take that off. If not, I'll pay somebody else. It looks like it's a bit of a, because there's a mechanical brake on there. You got to kind of, you don't have to take the whole drum off, but there's a, you know, I was watching another guy doing it, and it looked like there's a bit of work there. Well, it's all work, right? And then to replace the string, the coil spring strut, maybe I could find a used one somewhere and just do it myself, whatever. I'll have to get a spring compressor. That's the problem when you don't have the tools. But then again, if it's cheap enough to pay somebody else, I'd love to be able to make enough money to pay somebody else to fix things for me. But what I can do, start with the very basic stuff. This thing does burn a little bit of oil. Considering the age, you would expect it to build a lot of oil. Things to look to, if your exhaust valves are done on these, you'll see a lot of blue smoke. But again, considering the guy I bought it from, and considering the guy he bought it from, you know, things seem to have been taken care of fairly well. So for the age, like this really, for Canada, especially this neck of the woods, this is probably equivalent to buying a vehicle from probably 2008 or 2011 condition for Canada. Yes, with that kind of rust and everything, that would be normal up here. Most people, you know, most people don't even change their oil, right? So, you know, let alone maintain things. But this is in a position to be maintained, rust-proofed beyond belief, and corrosion-proofed beyond belief. And who knows, maybe I'll get another 20 years out of it, hopefully. Or at least to make enough money with this to get me to my next vehicle. Get me to my next job, get me to my next vehicle. And this will be known as the moneymaker machine. Because it's only really going to be moving whenever I make money with it. So that's good. I mean, obviously I'm going to drive it around, whatever. Yeah, so as soon as I can get the insurance on it, it'll be good to go. So anyway, didn't mean to go on this long, but I am pretty happy. So this is my first official vehicle. Considering my first four-wheeled vehicle that I ever bought was that Cavalier back there, the white Cavalier. That white Cavalier was actually in about this condition when I bought it. So, and I bought that one for $200. And then I forget what blew on, coolant line or something blew on it, and we got tired of putting money into it, so we put about $1,000 into that one. So hopefully, even if I put $1,000 a year into this thing to keep a vehicle running for $1,000 a year is actually not bad. I mean, if you buy something brand new, you're going to pay $600 a month, to, you know, $300 to $600 a month on average for anything new. But you know, you get something like this, $400. This is what you're starting with. You know, it's at that price where if it was like $2,000, it wouldn't be worth putting money into. But at $400, you put $2,000 into this thing over the next 2 years. You know, of just things that, you know, it needs to keep it running and stuff like that. You might get another 300,000 on it. You might get 1 million kilometers on this thing, 500,000 miles. Picture that. But yeah, and then of course, hunting down junkyard specials. Maybe I find, you know, a cheap light for $10 or something like that, or you know, and if it runs good enough for the next couple of months, well, maybe I'll even consider buying new ones. Who knows? I know you can polish them up and stuff like that, but sometimes it's just, you know, when it's done, it's done. Yeah, maybe if I can clean up that plastic a bit, that would be nice. But again, it's not like I'm going to be driving at night all the time with it, so yeah, there we go. So my 1999 Honda CR-V, all-wheel drive, $400. The replacement for the road rage van just came out of nowhere, and it was just like, yeah, hey, do you want to buy it? Good. Four summer tires that are, again, pretty good condition. They look like good condition. He was too lazy to change it back and forth. And this was just his beater. So, yeah, there we go. So, and the other nice thing too is when I talk to my boss, I'll say, "Where did you get it fixed up? Who's the mechanic you had looking at it?" So somebody who's familiar with the vehicle, that working on it and stuff like that, it'd be good. But if I can get all that rust off there a bit, I think everything will be good. Yeah. So yeah. Now, am I going to do anything ridiculous with it? Performance-wise, no. I want miles per gallon out of this thing, not the high speed. But the nice thing about this, if this thing can last long enough for me to buy a sports car for the summer, I can have this for the winter. You know, and just keep it as a, you know, the backup vehicle. And I'd hate to retire the road rage van completely, but I guess it's the sentimental in me that, you know, being my mom's last vehicle or whatever. Yeah, you know, I know it's probably not worth putting the money into it, but it would be cool if I did make enough money. The plate is still active on that one, so the good news about that is that you know, we can put it back on the road, but I can't put it on the road the way it is. So, but if I was able to run this plus the bike, it would be cool to have that as a backup, because that thing still runs really good. It's just you know, and that has half the mileage that this has. So it's kind of funny that this thing being that much older. That's a 2002. This is 1999, and it has less rust on it. So that tells you how the previous owner was taking care of it. You know, you can see, like, you know, here, this was filled in. You could tell that was repaired, you know. So you stay on top of stuff, things last. You don't stay on top of stuff, it just, you know, once it pokes through, it pokes through, eh? So when I fix this up again, you know, again, there's no place for it to really rot out. If I do an oil spray on this thing will be preserved. It'll be fossilized in oil. You know what I mean? Like, it's just never going to rust again. And that is kind of what I'm after. Just, I don't mind putting money into a vehicle, unless it's needs a complete rebuild or something ridiculous. Again, it rides a little clunky, but it actually rides not too bad. It's just when you hammer on it, you're going to get more clunkiness. But these things weren't, you know, finesse rides to begin with. You know, but obviously the testament to these little Honda engines, these things, these little Honda Civic engines, they definitely have their reputation, and they're easy to work on. You got 4 plugs right here, no specialty tools required. Oil dipstick here. The only thing that's kind of a little bit funky is the tranny. I didn't look, but somebody else was pointing it out. It's like it's in there somewhere. I'll have to do a better look for myself and whatever. Again, I know I'm going on really long with the video right now. So, you know, I like the throttle cable here. I can clean that up. You know, I'll clean it up, and there's the brake lines there. The brake lines look good. Again, there was a stack of receipts, so my boss, Peter, did a lot of work to this stuff. You got your coolant pump there, or line there for the... that's probably for the AC. I don't know if the AC works in this. I don't really care. I really don't care. Like, the heat seems to be working all the time in it. It's one of those vehicles where I think that's just it's a old vehicle syndrome thing, you know. But anyway, yeah, it's just once I figure out where everything is on it, I'll be able to go through it and see. You know, just clean it up. Once you clean it up, then you know what you're dealing with. I'll take the air box out, clean it, take the plugs out, have a look at them. As soon as I get some money coming in, I'm going to get a compression gauge for all the vehicles anyway, just to see how the health of the engine. Maybe the compression in this is fine. See if I can get a cheap manual for it, just so I know what I'm dealing with. But that horn. I mean, that was worth $400 right there. Just the fact that I'm going to know how people are going to be cursing me like you wouldn't believe. Like, there goes that frickin' Reggie again. Tell him to stop hitting that horn. Tell him to stop. Somebody break his vehicle. Yeah, I am that guy. It's funny how, like, it could be something so annoying, but if I know it just annoys other people, even if it annoys me too, I just find it funny, and I keep doing it. I don't know why. Yeah. Alright, so there we go. That's my new hot rod. And I'll have to go through and see if there's anything else not working on it or whatever. Hopefully the heater core works, but yeah. Yeah, there we go. Alright.